Is the end of the petrodollar a big deal? We'll discuss that today. Use the time codes below to go to that part right away. Or if you're watching live, you get to enjoy every single thing that we do here on Good Morning Stackers, including gold, silver, platinum analysis, subscriber show and tell sometimes, shout outs, join the GMS family, and the Synchronised Slurp. That's where you grab your tasty beverage, I don't care what it is, and you have to slurp it synchronously. It's an honor system wherever you are in the world. 317 subscribers as of right now. This show is going absolute gangbusters. Grab your tasty beverage. We'll do some shout outs. We'll do gold, silver, platinum analysis. Then we'll talk about, is the petrodollar ending? Is it a big thing? Is it a big deal? And what does that mean for gold as well? Here we go. In 3, 2, 1, Synchronized Slurp. How are you, people? My name is Joe Main. I have been a stacker for 15 years, roughly. I've been working in the precious metals industry in Australia for 11 years. A lot of it serving customers as customer service guy. Then I moved to the social media guy, where I launched and grew multiple Bullion businesses, YouTube channels. You know me from Bullion Now, of course. You know me from Ainslie. I also used to work at Goldstackers as well, did some videos for them, but that's where you mainly know my face and my voice. And now I help all types of businesses launch and grow on YouTube and other social media to increase their customer base. If you want to find out more, all you need to do is head over to this one. Instagram.com/it's Joe Main, Instagram.com/it's Joe Main. Why? Well, I have free content there. So just watch the free content. I'll be adding more as I go. And then if you have further questions, you can DM me and I can help you. And it's going to cost you money at a certain point. But let's figure out whether social media, launching YouTube channels and stuff would work for your business. The short answer is it probably does. It works for pretty much any type of business. But let's explore that. But just check out the free content at least. And of course, you want to head over to perthbullion.com.au because they are my preferred brand. They are my preferred dealer, and they are my brand partner. And out of interest, and you probably already put 2 and 2 together, I'm also helping them launch and grow their YouTube channel as well. So they are one of my clients at the moment. So I don't work for Perth Bullion Exchange, but they're one of my clients. I'm helping them. So they're doing great guns with their YouTube channel as well. So if you head over to youtube.com /at Perth Bullion Exchange, or you can just type in Perth Bullion Exchange in YouTube in the search bar, you'll find their channel right there. Doing some great stuff. Of course, they're doing their weekly specials. They're on Mondays. They've just started doing awesome unboxings as well. Some might call them epic unboxings, but no, you don't call them epic unboxings, probably not, but they're definitely epic-like, that's for sure. Just give another, a synonym for it. And lots of educational content as well. So this video that they just produced is silver bars versus coins versus rounds, the pros and cons. I'll just move that right there so you can see it right there. Really informative. Ricky from Perth Bullion Exchange goes through, obviously, the differences and gives his opinion on which he likes the most as an investment vehicle in the precious metals, particularly for silver. And there's lots more videos to come, so hit them up with a big subscribe. And of course, subscribe to me. And you want to do that because you're watching this right now. And welcome to all the international people watching. We've got people from England, we've got the USA, we've got people watching coming from the Wall Street Silver and the Silver DJing Club. Welcome to all those wonderful people too. And of course, my GMS family who are already here. So let's do some quick shout outs. Then we'll talk about, is the petrodollar ending? Is it a big deal? Already, you've got a bunch of comments. So Pete repeats, we'll just do the little shout. You guys have been talking about it beforehand. So we'll come back to those. Pete repeat says GMS. CT says GMS. Well, I'll get back to those comments. So we'll just get the little shout outs and then we'll get back to all those comments about the petrodollar ending. GMS says black coal. Knackers O'Reilly. Knackers O'Reilly is in the house. Right there. Living Adam Man is in the house as well. Where's my GMS Living Adam Man? There he is. GMS talking about the petrodollar. We'll get to that. Don't worry about it. Laurie, welcome to live chat. Remember to guard your private parts. Okay. Fair enough. Do that. Look at you guys. You are itching to get into the petrodollar thing. So we might even do that first. I think that'll be today's topic. We'll do it first. Then we'll look at gold, silver, platinum prices. Jubbly Bits. Hello, Jubbly Bits. Welcome to the show. You're a new watcher. I haven't seen your handle before unless you've changed your handle. But welcome to the show. This is what we do here at Good Morning Stackers. It's a weekdaily live morning show. And you've said, good morning, Vietnam, just like Good Morning Stackers. So yes, that's where I've taken it from that. So my deal is I just borrow from a whole bunch of different people and I utilize things and I modify a little bit. And that's how I kind of come up with my content and my plans and all that sort of stuff. And that's what you should be doing for your own business. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. You can borrow and you can change around a little bit and make something your own. But, in life, you take a bunch of different tools from everyone, you make it your own toolbox. That's what I do. But Good Morning Vietnam, very quickly, amazing film, one of my favorites. But I also had this is how old I am. Okay. So I had the vinyl of the soundtrack of Good Morning Vietnam. And if you remember, if you have that, on that vinyl is actually all Robin Williams' impro things, so all the radio announcers things. So I know the script from when he says, good morning, Vietnam. Hey, this is not a test. This is rock and roll. Time to rock it from the Delta to the DMZ. Hey, is that music? It sound like an Elvis Presley movie. I know the whole spiel from when he first does his Good Morning Vietnam speech in that movie because I know it off by heart because I listened to it as a kid. Anyway, you didn't need to know that, but you know what? You get it anyway. Teo, Idaho, USA in the house. Great to see you. We'll be talking very quickly about the petrodollar. Get your other comments in, but I just like to do these shout outs because we have to. Look at all of you. You're so itching to talk about the petrodollar. Knackers says, hello all. And WBit says again, first time catching live here from Silver Degen Club. Well, it's fantastic. And Silver Degen, actual Silver Degen, our Silver Degen and our Wall Street Silver. Oh, I've never seen them in the same room together. Wonder why. Has also popped on this live show as well. So we have got, it seems like we've got, and I know really, we've got kind of like official tacit approval from Silver Degen Club for Good Morning Stackers. So that is it, people. So time code. Let's talk about the ending of the petrodollar. Is it a big deal? Let's take a look at what we're talking, what is it for those people who are just catching this, family members and what the hell's the petrodollar and all that. We'll take a quick look at an article written by someone else. They're giving their opinion and they're also quoting other people's opinions, and I'll give my opinion too. So let's go over to, well, that's Perth Bullion Exchange right there. And I've given you my Instagram. That's Perth Bullion Exchange's website. And I need here we go, right here. So this is it's from Kitco News. All right, so this has just come out, I think just today. But Saudi Arabia ends petrodollar agreement, what it means for the USD, Bitcoin, and gold. Okay, so we're talking a little bit about Bitcoin here, but don't worry, it's just included amongst the big stuff. So let's read through this and I'll give my little comments as we go, and it kind of explains, helps to explain what the petrodollar is in the first place. So the established financial world order of the past 50 years is now transitioning to a new and unknown paradigm as the petrodollar agreement between the US and Saudi Arabia was allowed to expire this past Sunday. So, first off, it's not a we're just getting rid of it. We're removing the US dollar from blah blah. No, they didn't kind of cut it off early or anything like that. It is just they've allowed that to expire. So think of it like this. You buy a mobile phone, you get on a mobile phone plan and you go, the 12-month plan or whatever, and then that plan finishes, and then it's not like the phone company calls you and says, all right, you're done. That's it. You're cutting off, can't make any more phone calls. You just end up going on a month-to-month basis. And so, and you can re-sign up to the contract if you want for added benefits, I'm sure, like that. So it's a similar thing. They haven't cut off the contract, but they've allowed it to expire. But it's like, again, like they're going on, let's see from now. So that is a big deal, though. They did allow it to expire. They didn't renew it. So that is a sign to say, we're not sure about this anymore, at least. So it's a decent deal. It is a decent deal. But let's keep going. And this describes it. The term petrodollar described the US dollar's role as the currency used for crude oil transactions on the world market, meaning, well, actually, we'll keep reading. It traces back to the early 1970s when the United States and Saudi Arabia struck a deal shortly after the US went off the gold standard, thanks Nixon, and the agreement has had far-reaching consequences for the global economy. Yes, the petrodollar agreement came about following the 1973 oil crisis. Now here's the kicker. It stipulated that Saudi Arabia would price its oil exports only in US dollars. That means countries who wanted to buy oil from the Saudi Arabia could only use US dollars to pay for it. So Australia, any country wanted to buy oil from Saudi Arabia, we can't use our own currency. We can't use AUD. We could only use USD. What did that force all the countries to do? It forced all countries to convert large portions of their Australian dollar, for example, into USD, and that helps to strengthen the USD, right? And this is the other kicker though. So stipulate that Saudi Arabia would price its oil exports exclusively in USD and invest its surplus oil revenues in US Treasury bonds. So they said, okay, they struck this deal because Saudi Arabia was just like, they were, they're a lot more developed than they are now in terms of technology, in terms of infrastructure in particular. So US, again, struck that deal with Saudi Arabia. We'll buy all your oil, but you can only accept US dollars, and any excess oil revenues, you've got to buy US Treasury bonds, which again props up the US Treasury bond market. And in exchange, and here's the deal, in exchange for that, the US is saying, we're going to provide you, Saudi Arabia, with military support and protection to the kingdom. Okay, so that was the deal that was made. We'll protect you, but you've only got to accept USD, and you've got to buy a certain amount of US Treasury bonds every year. Basically like that. So it's a win-win situation for them, at least. This helped the US dollar cement its position as the world's reserve currency, yes, and ushered in an era of prosperity for Americans as they enjoyed the benefits of the preferred market global corporations to sell their wares. Because, pretty much every single product in the world is some kind of oil-based thing in it. Additionally, the inflow of foreign capital into US Treasury bonds has supported low interest rates and a robust bond market. Okay, does that make all sense? Does that all make sense? Good. All that is set to change now as Saudi Arabia is looking to move beyond. So again, it's not that they've cut the US off at all, but they're looking to move beyond an exclusive relationship with the US, as evidenced by the kingdom becoming one of the newest members of the BRICS nations. BRICS nations, a big conglomerate of countries that have gone in together and saying, we're going to align ourselves together. BRICS standing for Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and now it's going to be BRICS, Saudi Arabia with a double S at the end. They probably won't add the S. So while many point to escalating global tensions and shifting geopolitical allegiances as the impetus for allowing the agreement to expire, changes in the power dynamics in the global oil market have also played a crucial role in this development as the world moves towards alternative energy sources as well. So because solar and all that, it seems like they just want to open their options, and I would. If you can open your options, that's, it's called diversifying. We diversify within precious metals. We diversify within our investments. We diversify our risk profile as well. So could that partly be, the USD ain't doing so well. We don't like where this country is going. We're just going to open ourselves up to getting paid in other ways. It's not a bad idea, in my humble opinion. The kingdom, the Saudi Arabian kingdom, is on track to generate half of its electricity with renewables and natural gas by 2030, plans to plant 10 billion trees, blah, blah, blah. To achieve this, they have implemented blah, blah, blah. Don't need to know about that. Their decision to go in that direction of also including renewables has also been influenced by the emergence of new oil-producing nations, Brazil, Canada. So there's a little bit of competition happening. So here's the next bit. While many analysts have said that the threat to the USD's status as the reserve currency it's overblown. Most acknowledge that the expiration of the petrodollar agreement has the long-term potential to weaken the US dollar and, by extension, US financial markets. So, I can see how that would happen over a longer period of time. Again, I don't think it's a big deal right now. It's a big deal that they're going, we want to keep our options open and look for other avenues. Sure, but I don't see, and you certainly didn't see that in the price of gold. You didn't see gold shoot up to the moon or anything like that. But over the longer term, yeah, we're looking all right. But let me read this. At present, yes, so here's what you also need to know. At present, the Saudi Arabia Kingdom is still accepting US dollars in exchange for oil, but some of the world's largest economies are attempting to change that, notably China. For years, China has been actively trying to get Saudi Arabia to accept the yuan for oil purchases. And while the kingdom has thus far refrained from making the switch, they have expressed openness to the idea. So the petrodollar ended, and it's not like they started accepting every other country's currencies. No, they just said, we're just letting it expire, and we're open to it. We're not taking payments in anything else yet, but we're certainly open to it. And that's going to be the opening gambit, the opening sales gambit is, well, we've moved this and now you bring to us what you think you can bring. And that would make sense to me. According to digital news service Sputnik, this is how you know it's live, and I don't mute the thing either, nearly 80% of global oil sales are priced in dollars. However, Russia, Iran, Saudi Arabia, China, and others are increasingly shifting to local currencies in energy trade. In 2023, 20% of global oil was bought in other currencies. Now, it's going to be to do with BRICS nations as well. The kingdom's acceptance into the BRICS bloc has the potential to influence this decision. Of course it does. If Saudi Arabia moves to expand beyond the USD, it would materially weaken the currency's dominance in the oil market. That makes logical sense. And as a result, its place on the world stage also makes sense. A decline in global demand for the US dollar could result, I'm not saying it will, but could result in higher inflation, higher interest rates, and a weaker bond market in the United States. Well, that would make sense. It would certainly cause a weaker bond market, or potential a weaker bond market, because the Saudi Arabia it's no longer in their contract that they have to buy US Treasury bonds. So over time, they probably still are, I'm sure they are, but over time, they may lessen that. So obviously that would weaken the bond market in the United States, but this global demand, the lessening of demand could result in higher inflation. Higher inflation is good for risk off assets. Higher inflation is good for gold generally. Higher interest rates, although lower interest rates are usually better for gold. So you've got higher inflation but higher interest rates. Ooh, that sounds like an evil mix right there. Not a great mix. Really bad mix. Isn't that higher inflation and correct? I'm going to use my brain's trust down here in the comments. Higher inflation plus higher interest rates is stagflation, if I'm correct. Am I wrong? Prices going up, but interest rates going up at the same time. I think that's stagflation, and you don't want stagflation. Sputnik said, if world players significantly reduce the use of US dollars, the US's ability to issue dollar debt and earn dollars for exports will diminish, and the nation's economy will shrink, according to international economists. I'm not an economist. I know a little bit about economics because I listen to a lot of people who are economists or have been economists. And I can tell you, even the smartest economists in the world go, I don't really know. So even economists get it wrong too. So according to international economists, that could very well be true. But even really smart economists go, we don't really know what's going on. We're kind of guessing in the dark. The primary reasons for not making the switch at this point to accepting other currencies are the stability of the global acceptance of the US dollar. So it's just globally accepted, so they're not going to make that switch really quickly. While the USD for oil status quo remains in effect for the time being, the expiration of the petrodollar agreement represents a significant shift in global power dynamics. I agree with that, and highlights the changing energy landscape and the growing influence of emerging economies. Absolutely agree. It is a clear sign that the US's dominance is slowly shifting. Whether that continues to be, I don't know, but it is a big deal, this thing. It's a big deal to at least go, we're open to other currencies. So yes, that is a big deal. Is the petrodollar ending a big deal? Well, number one, it hasn't ended. Well, the petrodollar agreement has ended. And yes, it is a big deal in terms of its sign for the potential future. It's not a big deal yet in terms of the things that we're seeing happening right now. So gold hasn't gone up. They're not taking a whole bunch of other things yet, but it is a big deal in terms of the signal for potential large shifts. Evidence that the US understands the importance of maintaining a strong relationship with Saudi Arabia can be found in reports that the Biden administration is close to finalizing a treaty with the kingdom that would commit the US, here we go, to help defend them as part of a deal aimed at encouraging diplomatic ties between Saudi Arabia and Israel. So they're, right. As reported by Reuters, the possible deal widely telegraphed, blah, blah, blah. Don't care about that. All right, here you go. Effect on USD, Bitcoin, and gold. Quote, this is from someone named Daniel Krupke from somewhere. Quote, the end of the US-Saudi petrodollar agreement would likely have a minimal effect on the USD. So a potential differing opinion here. This is because Saudi Arabia would likely convert the non-USD currencies that they would now be receiving for its oil payments into the USD anyway. Okay, that I don't know if that's the case, but this is one person's opinion. So some people say it's a big deal, and some people say it's not going to be that big of a deal because they're going to convert their payments anyway into USD. I don't see why that is a given, but maybe I'm just not cluey on that kind of side of things. Although BRICS, this is the continued quote, although BRICS as a currency may have some level of adoption, it would not be able to achieve the level of adoption similar to that of the USD, gold, or Bitcoin. Oh, interesting. Let me go back. Although a BRICS currency may have some level of adoption, it would not be able to achieve the level of adoption similar to that of the USD, gold, or Bitcoin without being backed by a stable economy. Agree with that. Neither party benefits from the end of the agreement in the short term, as it effectively just complicates things. In the long term, it could make Saudi Arabia less reliant on the USD, depending on what the country does with its non-USD proceeds. Again, so big deal that it's a signal that they're going, to me, I can't read minds, but they're going, I don't know about this agreement anymore. It's been 50 years. Maybe it's just time to think out of the box, shake it up a little bit, etc. But yes, we don't know. So economists can say, that's going to have a big effect on the USD. But here's the other thing, because we don't know what Saudi Arabia is going to do with all those, if they start accepting a whole bunch of other currencies. What are they going to do with those currencies? Are they going to just keep them in those currencies, or are they going to convert them into USD, which then helps to prop up the USD? I don't know, and you don't know either. But it is a big deal that this is a big signal, at least. Let's keep going. Touching on the draft treaty, blah, blah, don't care. He also noted that Saudi Riyal is pegged to the USD, which means... okay, let's go back. Saudi Riyal, where's that? Don't know, but Saudi Riyal is pegged to the USD, which means that Saudi Arabia needs USD to support its currency. Okay, so there's an argument to be made that any payments in other currencies could get converted just to USD anyway. But on the flip side, however, the end of the agreement could be bad for the USD insofar as Saudi Arabia decides to convert these non-USD currency proceeds into other assets, such as, here's the kicker, gold or even Bitcoin. So that's where they're saying, well, there's a big choice to be made. Saudi Arabia can, they've got to start accepting other currencies. That could or could not happen. It's still kind of up in the air, but they're kind of considering it, and that's the big deal. Number two is, well, they could just keep buying USD with those other currencies, so that just helps the USD. Or they could consider, as a lot of you believe that might be the case, and I believe it could be partly the case, that they would put those non-USD currency proceeds into things such as gold or Bitcoin or a basket of assets. So that's obviously great for the gold price, great for Bitcoin, etc. And I agree with more diversification of Saudi assets into gold or Bitcoin could help push up prices, of course. although this is contingent on the extent of diversification. So this is all positing. It's all, what if scenarios. While the details on the future of a BRICS currency are scant, Russian President Vladimir Putin said yesterday, I won't do the accent, within BRICS, we're working on shaping an independent payment system. Yep, free from political pressure. Yep, abuse and external sanctional interference. So it makes sense to me that the BRICS are going to try and do their own currency. Russia's pushing for that, obviously, being free from political pressure, external sanctions. So if the US and other countries sanction the BRICS nations, they can go, oh, that's okay. Well, we're paying in our own currency anyway. Some have suggested that a BRICS currency could be backed by a basket of commodities. Well, what do you know? Gold could be a part, and that could benefit the gold prices. Yes, of course. Yeah, of course. If people start buying more gold, then it's going to be good for the gold prices. Most analysts hold the position that it will be years before the USD loses its reserve currency status. Yeah, it's not going to be overnight. As a contrarian view right here, someone on X called Bullion Buzz said, last week the petrodollar agreement wasn't renewed. Today, Moscow Stock Exchange stops trading in dollars and euros. What's next? Okay, bit of a hyperbolic thing. Anything else? Gold Telegraph, great infographics. No, Saudi Arabia's announced they'll be joining. Okay, here we go. Someone also noted, Saudi Arabia has announced that they will be joining the Bank of International Settlements M-Bridge payment system and thus leaving the petrodollar system as the only payment system for energy. Well, yeah, that's more of the same thing. This person here, Dr. Prophet, said the US-Saudi petrodollar agreement ends and won't be extended. This is their opinion. Tell me what you think. This will force the US to print tons of new USD. It could, I don't know. From this day, this is their opinion, Dr. Prophet says, from this day, dollar will come under heavy pressure. USD will be printed. Inflation will start rising. And of course, if inflation starts rising, bullish for gold, Bitcoin and stocks and real estate and all that stuff. Yes, generally it is. Why is that? Because your money just sitting in the bank is getting inflated away. It's purchasing less and less. So then you're kind of forced to get into more risky assets. It's like, well, I'm losing it. I may as well park it in the S&P 500. I may as well buy some gold for it because at least it kind of tracks with inflation over time. So then that pushes the price of those assets up. Quote, it's more of a long-term rise. He added, effects from this change will be seen in 8 to 12 months from today. Okay. Outcome is rising inflation and higher prices for everything, including stocks, Bitcoin, real estate, and gold. The end of that very long article. So let's touch on and let's get your opinions. I'm going to read out your comments. Then we'll do, of course, gold, silver, platinum, etc. But I'll give my final thoughts. Yes, as I said, it's a big deal. So I agree that the petrodollar ending, not the agreement ending, is a big deal in so far that it is a signal, a big signal, that there is some lacking of confidence in the US economy. And that's part of it. It's also part of, oh, look, it's been happening for 50 years. So why wouldn't we now start to look at other options? It's like any other contract. I recently had my car insurance come up for contract, for renewal. And I went, oh, it's a bit of a jump in that. I'm just going to quickly do some other quotes. And I did. I got some other quotes just to be sure. I really liked this insurance company. They were good for me. They were a good price, but I don't know what's out there now. It's been a year, so there could be a new company that's come on. I'm going to do some quotes. I did all these other quotes, and the company I was with was still the cheapest and the best policy and all that for me. So I just renewed that policy. But it was up for renewal, and I checked first. So that's just called smart. A long-term agreement, 50 years, coming up, and they go, oh, well, I'd like to see what else is out there. Yeah, okay. And they've decided not to renew the contract. Again, doesn't mean that they've stopped taking payment in USD, doesn't mean gold's going to shoot through the roof or anything like that, but it is a big signal where they've gone, we're going to go month to month. We're going to go on the month-to-month plan for now. I'm just going to check out my options because I'm not sure about you anymore. And that's a big deal, in my opinion. That signal is a big deal. But whether it's a big deal for gold, whether it's a big deal for inflation, whether it's a big deal for anything else, I don't know. So yes, a big deal. I have no idea. And I don't think you do either. You might think you do. Here's where I love to be a contrarian. Here's where I love to piss off my subscribers. A lot of you might be like, this is the greatest thing. This is, you're going to see this and this and this, and this is exactly what it means. And this is going to happen. And this is definitely going to happen. I'm not a this is definitely going to happen guy. I'm a, yeah, quite possible. Great that it is a big deal for the signal, but I don't know. I'm not an economist, you're not an economist, and not even economists all agree. So we just saw differing opinions from different people as well. So in the end, it is a guessing game, but it is a very big signal that they're at least going, I think I want to explore changing my plan, if that makes sense. So that's my humble opinion on that. Let's get your comments. I'm going all the way back to the start. Pete Repeat says, Qatar 78 billion in revenue for their gas. Australia just exported more than them. We got 2 billion in revenue. Where is it going? Refer to the last comment. Let's see. We're talking about the petrodollar. I'm looking for Pete. The US dollar. Yes, the US dollar is our biggest export around the world by far, says CT, who is from the US, that is. CT says, regarding the petrodollar, remember these countries have stockpiled US fiat to buy oil. Yes, correct. You are correct. It's going to take them a hot minute for them to run out. Correct. So that's what you would do. You wouldn't just go, oh, I need some extra USD. I need it now. I've got this bill, and now I'm going to convert just enough for that bill to pay that bill. No, you're going to, because if the conversion rate is good for you, because don't forget, foreign currencies float against the USD. So there are going to be certain times where, there were times in, 20 years ago where the Australian dollar was parity with the US dollar. So you could get much more for your money in terms of the AUD against USD. So it makes sense that, well, we're going to buy a whole bunch of USD when the exchange rate is really good for us, or where we think it's at a kind of a high point where we're kind of quite strong against it, and then we're going to buy a whole bunch and just sit on it, and then as it goes down, well, we don't have to buy more at a worse exchange rate, we're just going to stockpile it. And that's true, yes. So it's going to take a minute for them to run out. I do agree on that. CT says, this is why I own metals. CT says, my guess is they're going to come here and buy stuff with those dollars. My guess is they're going to come here and buy stuff with those dollars, and our prices will go to the moon. CT says, it sure looks like the US is already buying the bonds we sell. Yeah, right, to buoy, as in to prop up the company, which may cause challenges in the future. True. That is potential. Living Adam Man says, yeah, if we had a crystal ball, we'd be right all the time. Yep, all you can do is make a calculated guess and be prepared to be proven wrong, in my opinion. Yes, that's why you diversify. You don't just buy all gold. You buy silver too. No, you don't just buy all precious metals. You diversify your risk all around, because you don't know. No one knows where the world's going to go, really. Economists don't know. You don't know. No one bloody knows. So you diversify your risk strategies, if that makes sense. It's rotten. Their job is to protect our inalienable rights and future interests, but they fall at the feet of the devil corporations blatantly. She'll be right, mate. Will be the downfall of this nation. We're talking about Australia. Australia is, a hamburger for my business this last one has been so, your business in the last financial year has been so quiet, and it's scary. I'm sorry to hear that. If you want to, out of interest, if you feel like telling us what business you're in, and if there's any way that this community can help your business in some kind of way. Do you sell consumer products? Do you sell a service? If you want to plug that, you never know. Someone watching here may need your service or good or whatever. So we'll send you some business your way if we can. Let's see. Living Adamant says, Petrodollar End will probably have some geopolitical ramifications. It may take time to flow through. Yes, it's bad for the West in many ways, and AUD as pegged to the US dollar. Okay, so do you think then, hang on, so do you believe that the AUD would then strengthen against the USD, or would it weaken against the USD? If it's weakening against the USD, that's good for us because we've got assets denominated in American dollars, gold, and other people have crypto and stuff. But if it's going to strengthen against the USD, well, if the USD is weakening, then it might strengthen against, anyway. That's why you diversify. Let's see. Welcome to the live chat. Petrodollar. Black Hole says, petrodollar conspiracy theories are just that. Yeah. Noting of actual impact on precious metal will... no actual impact on precious metals will amount from it. There's a good video from Jeffrey Christian about the CPM group, from the CPM group about this. Yeah. There are lots of... This is the thing. There are so many different opinions that not even anyone can agree on it. So that just kind of tells you, yeah, we all know that smoking gives you cancer, right? That's pretty much well agreed. But if you can't agree on what the ending of the petrodollar agreement is going to do, and people go, well, it might do inflation. No, it'll lower inflation. No, it'll do this. Right there. But I do agree, it is a big deal in terms of its signal. Black Hole also says, petrodollar conspiracy. Oh, no, you just repeated that. An aside, PBE just need to learn how to pronounce Geiger. Yes, with that unboxing video. Yes, that's right. The LNG, we're getting all to the system so connected. Bullion Express, no. Okay, I'm just getting to all. I'll go to the back here. Here we go. Go to the back and we're just getting your last comments on the petrodollar. Then we'll do some silver, gold, platinum analysis, and then we'll get out of here. We have, Knackers O'Reilly says, we have no idea what is really going on with this agreement because we're not in the room. We don't know. But I do agree with the signal being a big deal. Mark Florida man, says, stable economy, quote unquote, precisely what I view is the weakest point of the BRICS nations and the possible salvation of the continued use of USD. Okay, yeah. It would have to be a stable one, wouldn't it? UAE. The UAE is paying China for the Belt and Road infrastructure with oil. Right, so they're not paying with USD, they're paying with oil. You do a bunch of infrastructure for us and we'll give you oil for it. Mark Florida's man says, Living Man says, yes, we here in the United States certainly living in interesting times. Agree? Same as you. Good morning, Stackers, smart blokes in Australia. We're all living in interesting times. May you live in interesting times is not something you want to hear from someone. Around the era, silver coin, they've been debase everything. Just quickly getting to the last ones in terms of the petrodollar, and I think that's pretty much it. Knackers O'Reilly says, looks like the US is slowly losing control. Certainly could be. What could bring them back? What could bring them back? What could potentially bring them back from the brink of disaster? Let's see. Wake me up when November ends. Repeat, the loss of manufacturing in Australia started with the ALIMA agreement. I don't know a lot about that, so my apologies. Knackers says, the US conned the world with the petrodollar. They certainly got a lot of good for them out of it, didn't they? Living Animan says, the USD won't be knocked down so fast. It will take decades, yeah. US will make new partners. Yeah, so if one agreement ends, they could make an agreement with someone else and influence. They could make new partners and influence, I think. But it does signal a change of trends. Exactly right. That's the big deal with this ending of the agreement. Again, just being open to other options. And yeah, I'll read out some of those. Mountain entertainment. I recommend taking anything super groups pulls out with a grain of salt. There you go. Mountain Bullion Entertainment. I want to know about you. Welcome to the channel. We'll get straight into the gold, silver, platinum analysis very quickly. Then you've got stuff to do. I've got stuff to do. Mountain Bullion Entertainment first. Welcome to the channel. Hit the big red subscribe button if you're not already. I recommend taking anything from the CPM group puts out with a grain of salt. I recommend taking, and I agree with that. I recommend taking anything anyone says about anything with a grain of salt. Literally. I have gone down the rabbit hole, all the way back up again, thought I knew what I knew, and then in the last 5 years went, I don't really know much at all. It's pretty much, I used to be a real reason and evidence guy. I was like, well, this study said that, and that study came out and said that, and then I didn't realize that about 5-6 years later, I realized, well, I'm just really kind of confirming my pre-held biases, and I'm looking for the studies that confirm my previously held beliefs anyway. Just so you know, the way we make decisions is everyone thinks they make decisions by looking at the evidence and then forming their decision. It happens the exact opposite. You form your decision based on your biases, and then you look for the evidence to back that up. That's what I've learned over the last 5-6 years or so. So, take everything with a grain of salt is absolutely true. Am I a moral relativist and saying we don't know what's moral and we don't know what's true? No. If you hit your foot on the thing, you'll stub your toe. If you try to flap your wings off a roof, you're not going to fly. All that kind of physics kind of things. But anything to do with studies or facts or anything like that, it's like, we don't know. We really don't. So I've questioned a lot of things in the last 5 years. Right there. And Mountain Bullion says, glad to be here. I am glad that you're here. And because I'm glad that you're here, I'm going to do the gold, silver, and platinum analysis really quickly. We spent a lot of time on that petrodollar thing, but we really had to. Time code, gold on the 4-hour time frame. I'll punch into the daily probably, but this is the 4-hour time frame, $2,302 US. We use US dollars because, what do you know? It happens to be the world's reserve currency until one day maybe it's not. You never know. But we use it as the world's reserve currency. Everyone prices their stuff in USD, so we just use USD. Sometimes I'll do the AUD, but don't forget we have other people watching from other countries, so we kind of just focus on USD. Right here, let's pop onto the daily time frame. Look, the short answer is I'm still giving you the 70% chance. I'm not there yet. I won't raise it, but geez, I'm almost wanting to raise that to like 80-90% chance at this stage, but I'll stick with 70% chance that what am I talking about? 70% chance what? That we hit the best buy zone right here, somewhere between 2,250 and 2,150 at least. So a 70% chance we hit down to at least 2,250. Could certainly go lower, could certainly go right lower. Really, really low, all the way down to probably a bottom of around about 2080, 2030, maybe even depending on when it hits. But I like this. I'll pop this on the weekly. This support 2080, support 2080, support 2080. It's a resistance. Probably, very large level of support. So probably no lower than that, but my best buy zone, 2250 to 2150, because it looks like we're in some kind of, and it could be a head and shoulders pattern. Again, I'll pop on the daily. Sorry for moving it around so much. I know you guys get a little bit of vertigo with that. Left, is this a left shoulder? Is this the head? Could you call this the right shoulder? If enough people believe it is, and if enough big whales, big institutions, etc., believe it is, then they'll place their trades accordingly, which then takes that price in that direction, a self-fulfilling prophecy. But if enough people believe that, we're definitely going to head down further, then they decide to either sell or they decide to not buy more. So if they're selling, obviously that puts the price down. If they're not buying more, that's a reducing of demand, so it lowers the prices. Makes sense? So I'm really almost close to say 80 to 90%. We're going to hit here, but I'll stick with 70 for now, just to be sure. I'm going to say 99% or 90% if we break this level here of, you can see it. Look, it's pretty damn easy. It's just, previous levels of support. I would say right there at 22.85. We break there and close a daily level, close the day, a day below there. I would say, probably 90% chance we're heading down to the best buy zone between 2250 and 2150. If when we get there, I'll talk about that more. What negates all of this? Of course, I need to see it break and hold and find a support 2,350. That's been a long-term level of resistance, and then it was previous support for a little bit, but it was a failed move to hold a support, and then there was a fast move to the downside. So you got to break 2,350 and hold a support. It also happens to coincide with this downtrend line roughly as well. So you got to see that break, and then you got to see 2,250, definitely a line in the sand that we have to break. And my final hurdle for making new all-time highs coming soon would be a breaking of 2,400 US dollars. That's the big final hurdle for me to say. We break and hold that on a monthly time frame, then it's like, new all-time highs coming like imminently. but we're nowhere near that at the moment, and 70% chance we hit the best buy zone. Is this bad news? No. Is it bad news? Well, it's subjective. Is it bad news for people who have bought all their gold they possibly can and they're just waiting because they've got bills to pay and they've kind of put all their eggs in one basket and they're just hoping it rises now? Yeah, it's kind of bad news for you. But if you're diversifying, that's okay. If you're dollar cost averaging, best way to do it. Then, hey, you want the price to go down a little bit. And if you're dollar cost averaging, you don't care. If it goes up, you buy. It goes down, you buy. You're just buying on regular intervals and you don't care either way. And you got to be a little bit dispassionate with this. That's probably the best way to do it is, oh yeah, okay, I went down today. Oh, that's cool. All right, well, my paycheck comes out next week. And if it goes up, then I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to buy. Great way to do it. But, of course, you would be thinking, well, as this goes down, I'm potentially lowering my average cost as I go down. So a lot of people think that's good news. So if that's you, good for you. So pretty likely 70% chance we hit that best buy zone. At least that's gold. Let's do silver in USD. Ooh, $28.90 US cents. I won't gloat. No, I won't do that. But a few people had been talking, some comments and some stuff like that around the social media saying, oh, we're back over 30, we're over 30, it's 30. And I said, just hold up. We haven't closed a day above $29.80, which I've been talking about for a while. You know that because it was previous level of support. Resistance here. We had that spike and people are like, see. I'm like, yeah, just wait for the day to end first. And then we close below it, which signaled to me there's no strength yet, and we are still on the same as gold, 70% chance that we see some more down days, and we have so far seen some more down days. This is pretty easy stuff to, I'm sure you came up with the same calculation as well. My best buy zone between 28 to 26. Watch out for spikes down as the extreme cases, wicks down to this downtrend line here, could be down to 25 to anywhere to 24.50. I wouldn't want to see a spike, but then I wouldn't want to see a close below this downtrend line. Okay, so long as we close a week, a month, a day above this downtrend line, I'm saying that's kind of par for course. You break out of a big level and then you come back to retest it as support. Out of interest on the weekly time frame, right here on the relative strength index, we are back heading in the downward direction as well. So double top on the relative strength index on the weekly time frame. We spent 2 times in extremely overbought, and that failed to break any higher. So double top, back down we go. We're also under this average. Gives me pause to say, yeah, look, I'm about to say 80 to 90% sure, because look at this weekly candle right here. We're at Friday now. We're closing soon. Yeah, a touch here, even a spike down, to the best buy zone. That's not, well, God, what we're in the 28s already. So we're in the 28s. But I'm saying $28, like 28.00, is the top end of my best buy zone. So I'm still saying we have a 70% chance we can hit that, at least, in my opinion. Happy to be wrong. I hope it just sails up from here and we just go to the moon, of course. But that is my opinion, and you've just got to watch out for 29.80, as I've been talking about. That's pretty damn obvious if it wasn't damn obvious to you before. And hit the big red subscribe button to stay updated on the prices on the weekday. I even give a weekend update as well on the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia group. And sometimes I do videos on the weekend too. Of course, if you're one of my new 10, 12 subscribers, I think, over the last 24 hours or so, then $31 is my final hurdle. I have to see that close on a monthly time frame in order for me to say we're in 100% bull market. That's it. No questions asked. I'm 99% there while we're above $26 and above this downtrend line, but I'm not 100% there yet. Got to break and hold and close a month above 31. Very likely we head down. More than 70% chance we head down from here. That is it for silver. And for platinum, well, poo to you, platinum. Whatever. Again, we're just in depressed stage. We're now under that support level that we found support on the daily. We've broken that. There was a little bit of daily support that I talked about at 950. We're now just back in this range here. The long term, range, the symmetrical triangle pattern formed in from February of 2008, the downtrend line. This uptrend line right here formed this little, if I could put a little line here, this little symmetrical triangle pattern right here. And we're back in that range, which says, nah, whatever. I'm depressed again for platinum. I'm excited above here, I'm depressed when we're in here, and I'm kind of whatever when we're in here. And it looks like at this stage, we might be making a play for, not guaranteed, but might be making a play for my best buy zone between 900 USD, anywhere down to 750 USD. Best buy zone for me, best risk to reward for the moment in platinum. You can see it was a failed move on the weekly time frame of the relative strength index to creep into extremely overbought territory. Failed to hold here. I just find this stuff so damn fascinating that I have these lines drawn in previously. You see this little move down here and then a little move here and then it found resistance there. That's after I had drawn in this level right here. I just find this stuff amazing. So even on the relative strength index, you can find these supports and resistance levels. Someone's watching it, in my opinion. Some big people are watching the relative strength index. So it is creeping down and we're way below this average right here. And you can see we're on the downward scope right here. And I would say we've got more to go. So not looking good for platinum subjectively in terms of if you want to just see it go up. But if you're looking to buy more, best buy zone might be coming into play between 900 to 750. I would say around about the bottom end of this channel right here, or as in this uptrend line right here. If it hits here, you could certainly see a bounce. So that is just getting into my best buy zone. So do you wait for 750? I wouldn't. You'd want to maybe get a little bit here and then see how it reacts, and then just average your cost down as you go. If you're even into platinum, if you're a platinum person, I have a little bit of platinum, little bit of gold, mainly silver. I am. And lastly, I've got to show you this, the gold to silver ratio. What have we been talking about? Let me move this yesterday. I'll just move this here so you can see it a little bit better. I put in this box right here and I was talking about very clearly this level of resistance. And I had this previous level drawn in and it was at the 80 level. And just yesterday on the gold to silver ratio, that's the logarithmic. Yeah, I want logarithmic. On the gold to silver ratio, we hit, bang on it, 80 right there. So I suggested 80 would be a resistance level. Very clear as obvious because it's previous support. It's, again, not like soothsaying stuff. It's just previous areas of resistance and support. It also happens to be a long-term downtrend line resistance level as well. So there was confluence around that 80 level. Very clearly, this box right here, I said between 80 to 83, we're going to see some kind of decent resistance. We've seen a little bit of resistance at 80, could certainly spike up to that 83 level, but I think you're going to find some kind of reversal on the gold to silver ratio where silver will start to outperform gold, at least for a little bit, once we get to between that 80 to 83 level. So we're already at the 80 level. Could that mean that silver has a little bit of time in the sun and starts to outperform gold for a little bit? Could be, bearing in mind that means that both silver and gold could be going down in fiat dollar price. It just means gold would be going down quicker or silver would be going down slower, if that makes sense. So I'm still 70 to 80% chance we see lower prices in gold, except gold could go down quicker than silver. And that is what could propel the gold to silver ratio back down again. But you never know, we still have this resistance level at around about 83. So we've got room to move. That's gold, that's silver, that's platinum. And final comments, and we'll get out of here. We've talked about the petrodollar. Again, a big deal. That's a signal of, we just want to see what's out there. Is it a big deal for gold, etc.? I don't know because I'm not an economist. You aren't, and economists don't know what the hell they're talking about most of the time anyway. And economists will tell you that. The good ones, the honest ones will say, I don't know, like that. So we'll get to some final questions, final comments. And I'll go back right here. Question from Black Coal. Joe, is the lower limit of your platinum best buy zone a tad low? Nope, I don't think so. Let me show you why. Let's go back. Great question, Black Coal. Is it a tad low? No, because here is the monthly time frame of platinum. Why is it not? Is it a tad low? It is not. It is the bottom end. Oh, I haven't shared the screen. God damn it. Right here. Get rid of that. And share the screen right here. No, it is not. There's the bottom end of my best buy zone in platinum. That's at $750 US. Bear in mind, it's not low. but it's the absolute bottom end of my best buy zone. Are you going to catch this? No, no one probably will. Where are you living in the world? Are you seeing it go down to there at the time that you're awake and your bullion dealer's open? All that kind of stuff, right? Can you place an order online at that time? Do they have it in stock? I don't know, right? But 750 is a huge level. From 2008, you can see right here, that's where we bottomed at. Then we had that big move all the way down. We ranged for a very long time. We came to retest that bottom in September of 2018. And out of interest, we did have that spike down. But what happened there? That was March of 2020 when everything was going down for a brief period of time. Why? You know why. But we did find rough kind of support, and we found quick support around that 750 level, that support level there. And so far, we've never hit it again. But it is previous big level of support here and here. So I would say it's not too low for my best buy zone, but it's definitely at the bottom end of it. I wouldn't be waiting until here, but I don't think it's too low because there has been cases to be made that it has certainly hit there before. So no, I don't think it's too low, in my humble opinion. Thanks for that question. That was a good one. Black coal. Let's see some final comments and some final queries. Living Adamant says, I don't think it's going into the cry zone, but it depends on what your average cost is. It's a waiting game. No hurry. Exactly. CT says, anyone following the India Silver Exchange? It's pretty new. I am not doing that. A cry zone is a dollar. Yep, buy zone. Good idea with the best. Thanks, Living Adamant. Good idea with the best buy zone. How about a cry zone? Yeah, cry zone. Maybe I'll do the cry zones as well, but the cry zones, I won't do those right now. But yeah, you're right. What about a cry zone? Yeah. Well, let me put it this way. Under a lot of those best buy zone levels, you're getting towards cry zone. But yeah, maybe I'll do a cry zone in a different show. That is, speaking of show, I'm going to let you all know now. Next week, maybe Monday. Next week, definitely, I'm going to be doing the Crazy Conspiracy Theory show. So I want you sometime next week, prepare for it for Monday, but it might not be Monday depending on what's happened in the world over the weekend. I might have to talk about some kind of hot button topic. Get prepared for Monday, but it might not be Monday, but this next week for sure, the Crazy Conspiracy show, where I did a whole topic on the craziest places that stories for storing gold. I talked about a customer coming in and they buried their gold under a tree in Crown Land, and they went away for 2 years and came back and took out a PVC pipe. And anyway, I told that story, and I heard some of your crazy storage stories. We're going to do crazy conspiracy theories. We're laying them all to bear. I don't expect that YouTube video to rate at all. I reckon it's going to be suppressed because we'll talk about everything because everything's on the table, almost. I would say almost is everything on the table, but we'll just talk about, it doesn't mean we're valid. Now, let me be very clear. It doesn't mean anyone's validating them. It doesn't mean we believe them to be true at all, but they're crazy. We're talking about the lizards and the this and the that. Let's just get them all out. Let's have a fun, crazy conspiracy theory topic next week. It might be Monday. Prepare your ones just in case, but it'll definitely be next week. So look out for that one. It's going to be fun, and I'm going to love. I've got some of my own as well, and that's it, people. I think we're going to end it right there. Thanks for all your comments and your queries, etc. Yeah, I will leave it at that. Yep, I got to leave it at that because I got stuff to do, and so do you. So thank you so much. Get your tasty beverage ready. We will do the Synchronised Slurp. It's the favorite part of your day. You get it once at the start and once at the end. My name is Joe Main. You have been watching Good Morning Stackers. Here we go in 3, 2. As I'm wont to do, I really always want to play out with the music.
Good morning, Stackers. Oh yeah, we're feeling fine.
Thanks so much for watching Good Morning Stackers. Thursday for this week. Have a great weekend.
Grab a tasty beverage.
So groovy. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Stay informed. Keep stacking. And I will see you next week.